Hello, my name is Branka. For my case studies, I have chosen two very different illustrators. The fine art illustrator Olivia Lomenach Gill and the trendsetter illustrator Laura Callaghan. Olivia Lomenach Gill is a British artist living and working in Northumberland. She describes herself as an thought artist and an accidental illustrator. This self-description is important when understanding her place within the market and also her journey to where she is today. Her official qualification is a BA in Theatre from University of Hull and an MA in printmaking from Camberwell College of Arts. I chose her for my first example because, to me, she sits in that magical space between art and illustration, being able to play freely with both. Her first major illustration commission was a children's book, Where My Valleys Take Me, by Claire and Michael Mofuga. With it, she won the English Association Picture Book Awards in 2013. This is probably the first time she came to the attention of agents and publishers as a potential illustrator. Olivia works combining collage, line drawing, and print with muted color palette. Her illustration work lends itself to evocative, imaginative work in both fiction and poetry. Her work in itself is very niche in its style and would not work in many forms of publication. However, she does present a consistent and easily recognizable style that can be marketed towards certain forms of publication and certain types of storytelling for a large demographic of the published works market, mainly the young adults to adult market. This market represents some of the biggest selling works and stories of all time, as demonstrated by her commission of the book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by J.K. Rowling that was published in 2017. So picking an illustrator that can be easily identified with the demographic of the market is essential to the market viability of the industry. It must be said, though, that the deciding factor in the styles used to represent such demographics are not chosen by the illustrator, but are in fact chosen by the marketing teams and molded around the selling of a story product to a chosen audience. Olivia's work must have fitted a set of criteria that was already decided by a marketing team within the publishing houses, represented through certain agents that feed potential illustrators into the market. She herself sees her rise into her position as almost accidental, possibly because she was not actually the director behind the placement of her work. My other example is Laura Callaghan. She is an Irish illustrator working in London. Her qualification is MA in Illustration from Kingston University. She worked as an illustrator editor for O Comely magazine for several years next to her successful career as illustrator. She uses a mixture of watercolor, Indian ink and isograph pen to create hyper-detailed representations of women and non-binary people in various states of work, rest and play. Since graduating, Laura has received commissions from a range of brands including The Body Shop, The Guardian, V&A, Urban Decay, Adidas, MTV and The Tate. She has had her first solo show at KK Outlet in London in June 2016, and in June this year her work appeared as part of Pictoplasma in Berlin, often considered to be the world's leading platform for contemporary character design and art. Her work started with fashion illustration for Sunday Telegraph, but the illustration was straightforward catwalk looks. From there, she discovered her love for strong patterns and started combining it with more of a narrative style drawing, where figures are more confrontational. What makes her work appealing is a combination of visual prettiness with political messages about environment, gender stereotypes and capitalism. Her work is detailed, colourful, fun, but also full of references to strong female characters and political movements. It is this style that led to her social media following and first UK exhibition. In that aspect, Laura is true offspring of our times where social media can make an artist. It is interesting to note that Laura Callaghan's Instagram has 298,000 followers, while Olivia Lomenach Gill has 2,258. Laura's list of clients is long and impressive, but scooping illustration work for the world's most famous franchise, which is Harry Potter World, is equally as impressive. My aim here is not to pit the two artists against each other, but to show what an amazing range illustration has and that a career and piece of marketplace can happen in most unexpected ways. These two illustrators represent the two major ways to break into mass market and gain a local and global influence. Olivia would be the first to agree that she was lucky within the network circle that enabled her to be considered for illustrative work in her market. Laura, however, worked in many places, taking her opportunities and in many ways presenting the illustrative vision of her employers to make headway. There are three common threads to both illustrators that I have taken as a way to the market for my own work. 1. Have quality illustration as a product to sell. 2. Build a good network within the market area I feel my work would be sellable in. And get a great agent. The final point to make is that you need to be prepared to present the vision of your client rather than just your own, until you are so sought after that you can call the shots yourself instead. Thank you for listening.